Well, this is a slightly unusual one. Sometimes you find out things that you had no idea about until you reach a certain point in life. And when I was looking at YouTube this past week, I came across a very interesting video. I don't know, it just kind of appeared in my list for whatever reason. I knew the show. It was a show called What's My Line, which started in 1950 and continued until 1975. It was a panel game show where there were four very well-known celebrities, and they would have somebody with a very strange job or occupation, and the whole idea was for them to guess what that occupation was by giving answers like yes and no to whatever questions were asked. So it's like things that they would ask questions like, are you involved in a product? Do you work for a profit-making organization? And so on and so on. One of the panelists that was on the show on a regular basis, because he started in the 1950s and continued for quite some time, is a man who is very well known in the entertainment industry. Well, he was well known, so anybody under probably 35 would have no idea who this is. But anybody above 35 would definitely know who it is. His name was Steve Allen. Now, Steve Allen is the first host of The Tonight Show, which today is hosted by Jimmy Fallon. And on this episode of What's My Line, they brought Steve Allen in, but not as a panelist, not as the mystery guest. The mystery guest is when they would have a well-known personality, the panelists would be blindfolded, and they would have to try to guess who it is, and the mystery guest would disguise their voice. But Steve Allen actually came on as a regular guest, so they knew who it was, but they had to find out what his occupation was. Now, Steve Allen wasn't just a television presenter for The Tonight Show. He also had his own show, interviewed programs. He even taught jazz piano. He was a pianist himself. He was a composer, composed a lot of well-known songs. His most well-known composition was called That Could Be the Start of Something Big, which was a big hit for Steve Lawrence and Eddie Gourmet. But when I was watching it, and they showed to the studio audience and the audience at home watching what the occupation was, that kind of, I was very surprised about that because I had no idea. Well, apparently, Steve Allen was a motorcycle enthusiast. He opened a shop in Santa Monica in the U.S. state of California in 1966 called Steve Allen Honda. Yes, he was a Honda dealership, and he actually had eventually a few other locations, but he didn't just sell Honda motorcycles, he also had BSA, Lambretta, and Vespa. And I thought it would be fun to take a look at this clip right now. Now, it is in glorious black and white, so if you're not used to watching anything in black and white, I would suggest you probably move on. But it is something I had no idea about. It is quite fascinating. I mean, there's a lot of other celebrities out there who are motorcycle fanatics. I mean, Ewan McGregor is one. Keanu Reeves would be another. Arnold Schwarzenegger. I mean, there's Steve McQueen. But Steve Allen? Steve Allen? I mean, this guy... I love Steve Allen. He was very funny. But when you think of the word square, or if you look up the word square in a dictionary, you would probably find him. Mind you, he did have a bit of a sarcastic sense of humor at times. He was rather funny like that. But just odd. As I was digging a little bit further, before we get to the clip, I found out that he was one of the major investors for Honda when they opened up Honda USA. And he was on their board for many, many years. Very odd. Anyway, you'll see what I mean by how he looks very square. And not exactly somebody that I would think of when I think of motorcycles, or when I see motorcycles. But anyway, here it is. What's My Line? June 1966 in glorious black and white.
Program. But right now, let's meet our first contestant. Will you enter and sign in, please? Mr. Allen.
Yes, Mr. Daly.
Will you tell us where you're from?
I'm from Los Angeles, sir.
From Los Angeles. Well, very nice to have you here. And, Mr. Allen, may I present our panel?
Yes, you may.
Well, now they're yours. Will you come over here with me, and we'll let the audience in the theater and the audience at home know exactly what your line is. All right. Panel, we can tell you that Mr. Allen is self-employed and deals in a product. And we'll start things off with Arlene Francis.
Well, Mr. Allen, I suppose the joke's already been made that you are not in the ice cream service, right?
No, but feel perfectly free to go right ahead.
Is it a useful product, Steve?
I believe so.
Does your wife have one of these products?
She does.
Is it a product compatible to both men and women?
Yes.
Could I hold it in my hand?
I wouldn't say that, no.
No, that's 1 down and 9 to go, Mr. Blight.
Is this product found around the home?
Yes.
Is it also found other places?
Yes.
Is it larger than a bread box?
Yes. We're trying to get them down, but we haven't reached that yet.
Is this product useful rather than a luxury item or entertaining item?
It depends on who has one. Could be both.
It could be both. Mm-hmm. I was hoping it wouldn't be. Is it made of... Does it have any moving parts?
Yes,
Is it made of, at least in part, of metal?
it is.
Does it have anything other than metal in it?
Yes.
Is it found in any, especially one room of the house? If it's found in the house at all?
No.
Good.
That's 2 down and 8 to go, Susie.
Is it some kind of a little machine?
Well,
You could so describe it, yes.
yes.
Working parts machine. Could you touch yourself with it?
To each his own, you know.
But that's not its primary function, in other words.
No, I would hope not.
When I use your product, would I feel better? Would it afford me pleasure?
I believe it would. Wouldn't you say?
Oh, yes.
Mr.
Yes.
Daly?
Oh, positively, Mr. Allen, yes.
Would it make me look better if I used it?
Probably. We couldn't claim that.
No, I think that would rather stretch the point if we did. That's 3 down and 7 to go, Mr. Sir.
Steve, I can assume this has nothing to do with your writing or publishing activities.
You may correctly so assume.
want
As
to
John
get
might say if he were here himself.
Who needs me?
I just want to get that in for you, Steve.
You go ahead, I will
Has,
relax.
Are you finished, John?
Yeah, I haven't said a word.
Is this product in any way connected with either music or television?
No, not directly in any way, no.
4 down and 6 to go, Miss Francis.
Is it a product, Steve, that one would more naturally find out of doors than indoors?
I would say that, yes.
Would you ever find it on or near water?
Near, but not on. Unless you've been drinking.
Is it a product that you could get into?
I wouldn't put it that way.
No, I wouldn't put it that way either.
On
5,
but not into.
5 down and 5 to go, Mr. Blyden.
This product does something.
Oh, yes.
Does the thing that it does it to, is it a solid rather than a liquid? And if you figure that question out, tell me, because I'm not sure I got it.
There's an unwarranted assumption here which I don't propose to put up with for a minute more. Whatever I'm talking about.
No, this product, it does something to something else. Is that correct?
I don't...
Why wouldn't think we had so, would you? No, I wouldn't think so. 6 down and 4 to go, Susie.
Well, does it do something to or for people?
It does something for people, yes.
You're
Okay.
giving away things.
I'm sorry.
He gave it away. Not to me, he didn't. Do you sell this product? Is it saleable?
Oh, yes.
Are you doing well with it?
Marvelously.
Does it cost less than $50?
Only secondhand.
7 down and 3 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Dave, does this product have any effect on people's health or appetite?
It could have an effect on their health, but it would be rather a tenuous connection, I would think.
I would say that it would not have as its principal or one of its principal functions
John
an
would
effect
say that.
upon health. I think we would mislead you, Bennett, if we didn't give you a
heaven
no.
forbid.
Heaven forbid. 8 down and 2 to go, Miss Francis.
Is it a product that one might find at a store that sells sporting goods or entertainment products?
Sporting goods, yes.
Is there something game-like about it?
You have
Not
to be,
gamey, but game.
You have to be kind of game to use it, but nothing in the game line.
No.
No?
That's 9 down and 1 to go, Mr. Blyden.
It's... Boy, I'm baffled. I really am baffled. I have no idea. Is it, would it also be found at any time, it's mechanic. Is it mechanical?
Definitely.
Does it work on a motor?
Yes.
Does it move?
Oh, like the wind.
Does it sometimes go off the ground?
It has been known to do so, but only in amateur hands.
Only an amateur.
Yeah.
Well, occasionally, though, a professional, but
Yes,
it's...
but
It's
that's not
mobile around land, then.
Oh, yes.
And is it sportive in nature?
Yeah, I would
Yes,
say.
it's not a game, but it's very...
Does it have anything to do with... Can you get in this at all?
No, that's been asked. It was already ascertained that you can't get into it. You
Can
can
it
get on it.
carry something?
It can, yes.
Is it ever used in golf?
When it is, the greenkeepers get really burned up.
That's 10 down and no more to go. Anybody want to make a guess? One of Steve's many interests?
Golly,
He sells
got
white
someone.
suits.
He sells white suits. And you know how it is. You can't get on them, but you can get in them or something like that.
He discusses capital punishment with Bill Buckley.
Can't make a living out of that. I
Hey,
mean.
he sells motorcycles. Here is one of the... It's all given away when I tell you the name of the outfit is Steve Allen Honda on Santa Monica Boulevard in Hollywood. He is part owner of this.
They would call it Steve Allen Honda in the East. It's Steve Allen Honda out there. As we Westerners say.
As my wife would say, when you come from New England, it's Hondur, which is even worse. But not only Honduras, he sells also Vespers, don't you?
And Lambrutters.
And BSers.
And BSAs.
And Lambrutters, right?
Sure.
Do you notice that thing?
The
New
Rs?
Englanders, all A-ending words, we
I'm
have a
going to
dreadful
open
habit.
an R shop in New England.
Oh, are you?
The Japanese are making wonderful little R's, and I think we could probably sell lots of them up in the Northeast.
Steve, you might do one in Australia and call it Under.
Steve Allen Under, yes.
Well, that one is going to sit there for some while before it gets any recognition, but then it's a long way from here to there. May I say, Mr. Allen, it's
Thank
been
you,
very
Mr.
nice
Daly.
to have you
It's
here
a great
on What's
pleasure.
My Line.
Thank you very much.